Morning. I'll start this press conference we've got great weather, and we've been having great weather, and I think that's one of the reasons the turnout has been so good here at the Board of Elections for early voting. I've got the daily totals. Boy, these numbers just keep going up and up. Yesterday we had 2,516 people through the doors. The biggest day we had was on 10/16. We had 2,631 people. And I'm anticipating a lot more people this weekend because the weather's supposed to be even better. And this afternoon, it's supposed to almost hit 80 degrees. We've got about a 70% return on our absentee ballots. A lot of people are utilizing the drop box on VistaView and also through the United States Postal System, which has been working great. They have been asked to make sure that they sweep each postal station at night and get all the election ballots out that day. And they've been doing a great job of that. So a shout out to them in working with the Secretary of State's office here in Ohio. Nursing homes. Andrew, you had asked me about that earlier today. We just have a couple that have responded that they wanted our staff to come out, and we sent a group out to Astoria Nursing Home this morning. And we have another group that we're training at Bethany Lutheran Village. We have about 100 nursing home residents there that want to vote. And so we will be training them online to be deputized as precinct election officials, basically, to learn how to help them if they need assistance, either reading their ballot or filling in their ballot with their choices. And we have to make sure that they are a registered Democrat or a registered Republican before, and we swear them in as well. So that's because of the pandemic, and that was included in the Secretary of State's directive earlier this year. You guys have any questions?
Jan, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah, thanks for that. So just to clarify, you said you've got a team going out to Astoria today is that to do the deputizing or to just go over the information with them?
That's just that is actually to vote a couple people in that nursing home.
Okay. And how will that work? Your folks from the Montgomery BOE will go, and will they physically go into the nursing home and just...
I understand that they may not be allowed to go. They will be in the physical nursing facility, but behind a plexiglass partition with the voters.
Interesting. And they'll help the residents fill out the ballots, or will they just take the ballots from the residents as they approach, kind of thing?
They can do either one.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what was the name? That's Astoria?
Astoria. Let me see. Hold on a sec. It's Astoria Nursing, 300 Astoria Road.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the deputizing, is that a provision of state law, or is that a Secretary of State, like administrative rule or something?
I would say deputizing. We have always deputized people, like even our seasonal staff, when they come here, we deputize them in order to handle ballots. So it's a law that's administered by the Secretary of State.
And then could you just address the value of being able to do that during the pandemic with the challenges that nursing homes face?
Well, they were the first ones really that, we started seeing COVID in, and a lot of the nursing homes are not allowing people to come in because of the continuing problems with spreading COVID. But those that are able to, we have a legal duty here at the Board of Elections to assist the voters still, and we have to go into the nursing homes whether they have COVID or not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jan, has that ever been done in the past?
Nursing homes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been doing that for years. We usually had a full nursing home team and visited all of them, and it was a big part of our operation here.
Sounds like it's a little more maybe calculated this year, though, if you're talking about like a barrier that they have to stand behind and all that.
Sure, yeah, medical, protection, gowns, face masks.
Were either of those already a precinct before that had to be dropped because of COVID?
Um, you know what? I don't know. We did change 10, we did all those changes, Chris, in March or before March, or maybe it was during March. I'm sorry that everything's kind of melding together.
Right.
Any place that was an assisted living facility or a nursing home had to be moved for the presidential primary, and there were 10 locations that were moved. I can get that information to you, Chris, off the top of my head. Let me just look down this list. I think Brookhaven was a location. Um, 10 Wilmington Place was, and that's not anymore. And then there's some other places that were just senior living facilities that were not hosting the polling location there, just because of the factor or the fact that they're more susceptible to COVID than other demographic groups. But I can get that if you want that information, Chris. I can get that to you.
But neither of the places that you mentioned were previously a polling location that we.
Bethany
that they-
Lutheran, yes, Bethany Lutheran was, yes.
Jan, of course, some of the big national news right now is some of these emails that have been going out to voters, purportedly from Iran and Russia, like threatening folks. Have you received any reports from voters in Montgomery County receiving emails like that?
I saw that report last night, Chris, and I'm not surprised. We've been prepared for that for a number of years here with our cybersecurity training with the Secretary of State's office, especially for the disinformation that foreign entities may be trying to create and spread. I haven't seen any here, but I know that there's been phishing attempts throughout the years, with our staff, and we're aware of it. And, we have to attend a lot of cybersecurity training as director and deputy director, and then our staff yearly has to go through cybersecurity training so that they don't click on any suspicious email. And Adam, I have my IT person here. Adam, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the one thing with
You can come on over.
Yeah, can Adam?
If I could have Adam address that, that might be a little bit more informative to the viewers.
hello. To be honest with you, if you could just kind of repeat that question, I could hopefully help you with some of the information.
Well, the question is really, has the Board of Elections heard from any voters? Have you received any calls from actual voters who received any of these types of threatening emails?
No, we have not. I am aware of the emails that have gone out with the information that's in it. One of the things, I can't remember the specifics of what group they were saying that it was from, but one of the threats was that if you don't vote for a certain candidate, that there is going to be harm or something that will come to you. I think something that's important for the voter to know is that there's no way to track who voted for who, right? So no group or no entity is going to be able to tell who you do or do not vote for. And so I think that's really important for voter confidence, that they can vote however they wish. Any threats or anything like that is just, it's all smoke and mirrors. There's nothing that nobody can do, not even within the board are we able to tell who voted for who. So that's something that definitely people need to know. Also, a big thing is that if somebody does receive anything, please reach out to us. They can get you in contact with myself. I'm the cybersecurity lead here. If somebody does receive anything like that, please reach out to us. You can get in contact with me directly through our main line, through Jan here. That is something that I would be more than happy to work with anybody on, give them the information that they need. Also, when people are going and trying to get information, please either go to our website. You can get to it at mcsafevoting.com, or go to the Secretary of State's website for any information. Anything that's on social media, anything that somebody sends you in an email, anything that somebody tells you, it's best just to assume like, hey, maybe this is skewed, maybe it's false, maybe it's old. So many things are really attention grabbing. I've seen other reports about, ballots being rejected in other states, and really when you go into it, it's just duplicate applications that were sent in. And it's not as if voters are being disenfranchised. There's just, to what Jan said, misinformation is the single biggest problem that we're facing with this election. Our election security is top notch. It's the best in the world, and the state of Ohio and Montgomery County in particular, we are definitely one of the leaders. I say that with confidence. Obviously, nothing's foolproof, but realistically, the voters can vote with confidence, and definitely people need to know that.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Adam.
Nothing's hooked up to the internet, so no other countries could even touch anything. So,
Hey,
Adam,
Adam, can you spell your name for us and give us your position?
yeah, my first name is Adam. It's just Adam, normal spelling. Last name is Lawson, Lawson, as in November.
title, Adam.
I'm a system administrator / IT coordinator / cybersecurity liaison. I wear a lot of hats. So,
Okay, thank you.
/ Zoom setter upper.
Yeah. Anything and everything I can do.
All right, thank you, Adam. I
Great.
appreciate that.
Yep. Any more questions? Do you want to go back to Jan?
Yeah, for Jan.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Wow, somebody wants me.
Hey, as far as the number of folks who have voted early so far, do you have a percentage of that over compared to the number of registered voters?
Yeah, we've got hold on one second, let me pull up we've got 300 and, oh, I didn't pull that number up. Hold on one second.
372,164.
372,164 registered voters, and that's locked down. That's everybody that registered, close to the deadline and everything that we got. And when we say lockdown, that means that's it. Everybody that can be registered is registered. And we have had, I would say, close to a third of the registered voters had voted, either by mail or in person. And I think that trend is going to continue. So I don't think we're going to have as long a lines as we thought we were going to have had people not showed up in person. We're still probably looking at, a little bit of a wait on the day of the election because of social distancing. I'm looking at a camera now in our east lobby, and there looks like there's a line, but it goes very quickly because people are spread far apart. And also, I'd like to shout out, when people come to the Board of Elections to vote, please maintain social distance in the garage. We've marked it with chalk marks so people can stay socially distanced. But I understand from the Department of Health, a lot of the COVID spread is because of people waiting in lines that don't follow the governor's orders of 6-foot distancing. And we're really trying to make that known, and we're putting as many markers as we can. But sometimes we don't have the personnel out there to enforce it as much as we'd like. Or sometimes people, by their nature, they don't want to be told what to do.
Jan, you talked about how many were early in person yesterday and how that's going. And can you go back over where you stand in terms of ballot mail-in requests and how many you've gotten back?
Yeah, we have mailed out over 100,000, Mike, and we've gotten back about 70% already. And so the turnaround, if you drop it in the box outside, it's almost like a 30-hour turnaround, where you will see on our webpage at mcsafevoting.com, you can track your ballot and see, if it's been processed.
And speaking of the absentee ballot, last time we spoke, you told me that you had already surpassed your numbers as far as those requests compared to last year. Can you tell me where those numbers stand right now?
over 100,000 ballots that we have mailed out.
I mean, I think the other day you said like 124,000 requests. Like,
Right. We still have to drop some ballots that we're still entering into the system because the Secretary of State just did his supplemental mailing of absentee ballot applications. So we're working on those as well as voting people. And we're now started, since we locked down on all the voters, we call it the lockdown period. Now we've started our logistics and accuracy testing for the 143 polling locations. People seem to forget, we've got to open for Election Day, and that's a big part of what we do. So our whole election operations department now is focusing on that and getting all the machines ready. Each machine has to be retested, even though we didn't use them for the presidential primary. And we also have to include all of the PPE equipment that we were able to secure. We secured all of our equipment by July 31st of this year, so we were excited to get that checked off the checklist. And we've got a lot of work to do ahead of us this week. And then early voting is on for this weekend and next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. So this is an extremely crucial, busy time for the Board of Elections. There's a lot going on. If you want to come down and help, I would open the door to that.
And what if there is a minor discrepancy as far as the absentee ballot, like maybe their signature is in the right spot or a part is left blank or something, those minor discrepancies? What is the approach as far as fixing those? Can you throw a ballot out? What are some of the responses?
We never throw a ballot out. A ballot may not be counted because somebody didn't sign their ID envelope. Rarely do we reject a ballot because of signature. If it is rejected because of signature, let me complete this thought. It's because the person didn't sign it. We try to contact them if they've provided an email or a telephone number, and then we send them a letter asking them to correct or cure what they didn't put on the ID envelope. And the same goes for the application for the absentee ballot. We have a whole room full of curing staff that reach out to everybody that has sent in an application that we can't complete because they forgot to put something on it. And that's just the law.
And for those people, who may have concerns about that, how can they make sure that their absentee ballot is counted? I know you'd mentioned something about the tracker earlier.
Right. They can check on our track your ballot.
And what if they're sending in, I know we're coming up upon the deadline as far as to request an absentee ballot here soon.
Yeah.
What if there is, you said, some of those mistakes you guys would call or email, but what if it's, really near that deadline? What happens then?
Give me an example.
If we're cutting close on time as far as when they're mailing them in and there is that correction, maybe they didn't get that phone call, what's the approach as far as that when it gets closer to the deadline?
Well, is the deadline for anything to be mailed and stamped by the United States Postal Service, not like your office postage stamp meter, is November 2nd, the day before the election. So you'd have to have all that information into us by November 3rd if you called.
And can you talk to me about some of the benefits of people, using this option, especially this year during the pandemic?
The mail-in option?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just that. I mean, you don't have to go out of your house. You can mail it from your mailbox, and it's your own little voting area. You can take your time. You can look up your candidates online. It's safe. We've been promoting it for many, many, many months. The ballots, it's easy for us to process and read, and it's just another option we offer to our 372,000 voters here in Montgomery County, along with early voting and voting at the precincts. Not sure what we'll be offering next general election, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
And last question for you is, many people have been saying that they're scared about sending in their absentee ballot because of rumors of it getting lost or not counting. What is kind of your response to that?
They're just rumors. It's safe to vote by absentee, and we're getting thousands and thousands, and we've ballots back. If they don't want to use the mail, then we've got a drop box for them. If they don't like the drop box, come on in. We've got a drop box in our lobby. And if they don't like that, come on in and hand it to us and we'll take it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jan, somewhat similar to the question about signatures, I have a few more questions from readers that have come in. And somebody wrote that they marked their ballot with a Sharpie, it had bled through, and it might have looked like a mess. What should they do in a situation like that? Do they
Well,
need a new ballot, or?
Yeah, we call those damaged ballots. Like maybe somebody was at the kitchen table. I had one voter contact me. He said he ruined his ballot, and I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" I didn't know if he voted for, a candidate he didn't want to, and he goes, "Oh, it was nothing that glamorous. It was I spilled a soda when my kids and dog came into the dining room." And so, if we have like a damaged ballot, that would be remade by our staff here. Take it before the board first. Because maybe the magic marker bleeds into the timing mark and it can't be read by the high-speed scanner. And it would be rejected. If it was rejected by the high-speed scanner, it goes into the reject pile and then reviewed by staff and the board itself.
If they want, can they basically come in and get a new ballot, or?
If they haven't submitted it, yes, up to 3 times you can vote a ballot.
So if this person with their Sharpie bled through, they would have to basically walk it into the Board of Elections, say, look, I kind of messed up my ballot. Can I get a new one?
Or they could call us and we can soil and deface the one that they marked with the marker, and we can get them a new one.
So they can call, you can mail them out a new one as long as they don't send both ballots back, right? 'Cause
Right. And the first ballot we get back is the one we count.
Okay. Great. Somebody wanted to know, but I want to get it might seem self-evident, but I still would like to get your answer. One reader wanted to know if they basically had to vote for, everything that's on their ballot. Like if they're judges and they don't know who's there, what do you tell them? I mean, their other votes are going to get counted.
Vote for whoever you want to, vote for whoever you don't want to vote for. You want to vote just for the dog catcher, vote for that. I mean, you don't have to vote for anybody you don't want to. You don't have to vote every race, and every ballot will count the races you voted for or didn't vote for.
All right.
And then also keep in mind, just a shout out to voters, that in the state of Ohio, judicial races are not marked with party affiliation, unlike some other states. So when the voters get to their voting either machine or paper, they would have to do some research on the party affiliation of the judges, because it is not marked Republican or Democrat.
And you already touched on this too, but another reader wanted to know what kind of turnout they could expect if they actually show up to their polls on election day, or to the precinct.
Gosh, that's a hard one to answer. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to have over 73% turnout overall. So it depends on where that reader's precinct is. Is it a multiple precinct polling location? They'll have a longer line probably, just by virtue of the fact that we were trying to consolidate precincts into bigger places, and then the pandemic came, and now that's not such a good idea. So it depends on the size of their precinct and what time they get there.